Okay, I'm Guybrush. Sometimes I get a little confused about it. I'm Dominic Armato. I'm the voice of Guybrush Threepwood. Monkey Island's back.
For those who don't already know, we are expecting Return to Monkey Island to hit our computer screens in 2022. So I'm going to take a look at some of our favourite characters who might be returning to the franchise. I'll have a recap of each character for those who are not familiar or need a reminder. There will be new characters as well, which I, for one, am looking forward to be introduced to. But in the meantime, while we wait for info from the Monkey Island camp, Ron himself has also given us some hints with a recent Twitter reply. A fan of Monkey Island with handle Emmy Dawn created a cool cross-stitch of some of the well-known classic characters, and in response Ron indicated one of them would not be returning. So without further ado, let's get into it. So the first character we're going to take a look at is Stan. He's a fast-talking, eccentric salesman in the Tri-Island area who made regular appearances throughout the series. Whether he liked it or not, he often found himself dealing with Guybrush Threepwood as he went on with his adventures. This led Stan to being in fairly compromising or uncomfortable situations. He harboured no ill will, however, and would gladly broker a deal with Guybrush more often than not. Stan was a shrewd businessman who would do anything and everything to clinch a sale, sometimes to his detriment. He tended to overhype his wares and loaded them with add-ons or extras while praising them as a real bargain. He was characterized by his manic arm gestures, oddly patterned jackets, and a big mouth. According to Dave Grossman, Stan is loosely based on Cal Worthington, a car dealer famous for his commercials on the US West Coast.
Here's Cal Worthington and his dog Spot.
If you want a better buy, go see Cal. You're the guy we satisfy, go see Cal. Give a new car to your wife, she will love you all her life. Go see Cal, go see Cal, go see Cal.
Hey, once again, I want to show you a painless way to get into a new Ford. Look, I'll sell you this new 84 LTD for $75.95, or I'll lease it to you with no money down, $180 a month.
I can definitely see the resemblance.
Average 60-gallon coffin.
On the rare occasion that he allowed a customer to speak, he would stand with his hands on his hips and his foot tapped impatiently. He claimed to be claustrophobic, which, considering in LeChuck's revenge, Guybrush locked him in a coffin, maybe he'll make a reappearance in the next installment and get some payback. As you can see, when he attempted to pitch to Guybrush Threepwood, believing him to be interested in making a purchase, he sits inside one of his finest coffins. He proudly calls it the Cadillac of coffins, demonstrated how roomy and comfortable it is, and pointed out the built-in cup holder. Guybrush, however, shuts the lid on him and nails it down, trapping Stan inside.
It sure is nice in here. Hey, I think the lid's stuck. Excuse me, friend?
It's locked.
Hello? Is anybody out there? Yoo-hoo! Help! I can't get out of here!
I'm not ready for that yet.
Hey, take your time. No hurry. Okay.
The coffin was eventually shipped to Blood Island and buried in one of the crypts there. We see Stan in Curse of Monkey Island and in the later games, but it'll be interesting how Ron handles the continuity here. As he said in previous interviews, the Return to Monkey Island will be a sequel to MI2, while still trying to stay true to the existing canon from other games. So in theory, Stan is still in the coffin.
Phew, I'm glad to be finally out of that thing, even though it was a spacious, comfortable model with plenty of leg and headroom. Well, hello there. Say, you look familiar.
Okay, first of all, my real name isn't Herman Toothrot.
Really? What is it?
I'll get to that. First, let me tell you how I ended up here on Monkey Island. With nothing but a busted accordion, most of the clothes on my back, and a head full of broken memories.
We first meet Herman Toothrot in The Secret of Monkey Island. After he lost his memory in an unfortunate accident, he lived the life of a hermit for several years on Monkey Island, unable to remember one iota of his past. Elaine Marley was a famous captain and adventurer, well regarded throughout the Caribbean. He was also the elected governor of the Tri-Island area, but that didn't stop him from satiating his hunger for seeking dangerous thrills around the world. He fell victim to the machinations of evil pirate LeChuck during his search for the legendary treasure of Big Whoop. He and his crew returned home, unable to speak of the atrocities they witnessed. In Escape from Monkey Island, Guybrush Threepwood helped him recover his memories. This drove Horatio to seek revenge against LeChuck and Ozymandias, but a stop to their plans.
Is this gonna take a while? I'm in kind of a hurry.
Stow it, Blondie, this is important. Like so many stories, it began some 20 years ago in a bar on the other side of the world. I had been lured out of my peaceful retirement in the Caribbean by the thrill of a dangerous sailing regatta off the coast of Australia.
Australia? Wait a minute.
Hush up, kid, I'm telling a story here.
Sorry?
Anyhow, the night before the competition, I was steeling myself for the race with several pitchers of grog when I was joined at the bar by one of the other competitors. an unhappy Australian tycoon with the unlikely name of Ozzy Mandrill.
No.
Yes. The poor guy seemed so sad, just because no one would do business with him anymore. Well, to cheer him up, I regaled him with stories of my adventures on the untamed Caribbean seas.
So you were the one who told Ozzy about the lucrative development opportunities of the Caribbean.
Yes, but that's not all. The next day, as I reached the race's halfway point, I'd already forgotten the grog-induced revelries of the night before. Suddenly, I found myself being rammed by another boat, pushed into a freakish whirlpool. It was none other than Ozzy.
I hate it when that happens.
It gets worse.
Yipes.
I hadn't just told Ozzy about the wonders of the Caribbean. I'd also told him about all of its terrible voodoo secrets. Secrets that men would kill to possess. I'd told him about the gate to heck known as Big Whoop. I told him about the unbelievable lineage of the three-headed monkey. Worst of all, I told him about the ultimate insult, the voodoo talisman that could make mice out of men.
Remind me to never tell you a secret.
Strangely, the whirlpool didn't kill me. Instead, it dropped me and my shattered ship on the other side of the world. By the time I had righted myself, I had no idea who I was or where I came from. I took the name Herman Toothrot after the remaining letters on my accordion, H.T.
H.T.? Wait a minute, you're not telling me that you're really...
That's right. My real name is Horatio Torquemada Marley.
But you can't be Governor Marley. I mean, everyone knows that H.T. Marley died over 20 years ago, off the coast of Australia, in a boat race.
Grandpa! Get your stinking hands off of me, you blamed octopus!
But sir, we're family. See? I married your granddaughter, Elaine.
Oh, that's just wonderful. I finally rid myself of 20 years of amnesia, and the first thing I learned is that my granddaughter has married the sorriest excuse for a pirate in the seven seas. Somebody get me a coconut so I can go back to being blissfully ignorant.
Ron also confirmed he had been working with Wal Winger, the voice actor, early on in the process of the characters expected to return. I would be surprised if he was voice acting a different character. The Voodoo Lady is a well-known travelling mambo, a voodoo priestess, and self-proclaimed fashion consultant. She has provided invaluable advice to Guybrush Threepwood throughout the series, thanks to her extensive knowledge with voodoo curses, magic, and the occult. She claimed to have clairvoyance, able to predict Guybrush's fate and actions a number of times throughout the series. She was also attuned with the Force and could sense events happening far away. She liked to speak in dramatic fashion, particularly when it had something to do with Guybrush's quest. She often spoke in riddles and obscure phrases, never quite giving the answers Guybrush needed to fully comprehend the situation. She clearly knew what's good for Guybrush, which has helped him out more times than he could remember, and her locations were often similarly themed, with large draperies to the sides and large pot of voodoo potions or soup at arm's length. She has never been known to stay put in one island for very long, and likes to move her operations around the Caribbean when she's felt like it. It was revealed in Tales of Monkey Island that over the years, the Voodoo Lady had apparently been at the centre of the rivalry between Guybrush Threepwood and LeChuck, forcing them against each other for her own mysterious motives. So maybe we get some more answers in the upcoming installment. I wouldn't be surprised if the character makes a big reveal.
Elaine!
Guybrush! Guybrush, thank goodness you're all right. I've been worried sick about you. First the explosion, then that big cloud of voodoo pox you released from LeChuck started infecting pirates all over the Caribbean.
And when it comes to Elaine Marley, she was the governor of the Tri-Island area. Her gubernatorial powers covered Melee Island, Booty Island, and Plunder Island, as well as having some influence in a number of other locations too. She's an able sailor and captain of her own ship and crew. She is a resourceful and intelligent woman. She became the object of obsession by the zombie pirate LeChuck, which led her into situations where she fell into becoming a damsel in distress. More often than not, however, she was perfectly capable of escaping and handling herself. In combat, she was an accomplished swordswoman, but throw a rather dangerous punch. She was the favourite relative of her grandfather Horatio Marley, Herman Toothrot, who named his ship Elaine after her. She was likely the only person who he confided to regard the truth behind Inky Island and Big Whoop. Following the events of Escape from Monkey Island, she handed her gubernatorial duties back to her estranged grandfather. Elaine was a young, beautiful woman with long, wavy red hair. Guybrush also described her as having inordinately strong thighs. Maybe we see a new female character in Return to Monkey Island who takes Guybrush's attention. Would be an interesting storyline if Elaine had some competition.
Obnoxious, slithery, creepy, crawly sort of a guy, but I'll say one thing for him.
What's that?
He sure looks nice exploding against the night sky.
Elaine, I'm a man of action. A swashbuckler, a rogue, a wanderer, a man who can hold his breath for 10 minutes. I have no ties and no regrets. I sail with the wind and go where adventure takes me.
Guybrush Threepwood is the main protagonist of the Monkey Island series. Check out my other video on the top 10 interesting facts if you want to know where the name comes from. When we're first introduced to Guybrush in The Secret of Monkey Island as an ambitious, though somewhat naive wannabe pirate. By the series' end, he had established himself as a competent swashbuckler. Guybrush's chief nemesis is the dreaded zombie pirate LeChuck whom we face throughout the various installments of the series. At one point, in LeChuck's revenge, it was suggested that the two were brothers.
I am your brother.
Which has since been brushed aside, but who knows. And after a long and tempestuous courtship, Guybrush eventually married the woman he loved, Elaine Marley. The two had several more adventures together throughout the series.
I suppose you've got many more exciting things to do? I won't take up any more of your time, Mr. Threepwood.
Bull! Rufenkiv! Dwingly? I really wish I knew how to talk to women.
He also had a number of talents and idiosyncrasies, the most well-known of which is his ability to stay underwater for 10 minutes. And when challenged to a duel, always able to come up with a witty comeback.
I'm Guybrush Threepwood, a mighty pirate.
Don't make me laugh.
Every enemy I've met, I've annihilated.
Oh, yeah?
You're as repulsive as a monkey in a negligee.
I look that much like your fiancé? Heaven preserve me. You look like something that's died.
My ship has barnacles on its underside.
I've never seen such clumsy sword play.
Oslo's the capital of Norway.
Ha! I've beaten you. I will let you live if you give me your treasure.
I haven't got any treasure. Why do you think I was attacking you? I guess I need more practice with this sword fighting stuff. Hey, at least I showed him in the high seas combat part.
You'd better leave now if you value your life.
I've come to plunder your treasure.
I'll see you clapped in irons first.
I have never seen such clumsy swordplay.
You would have, but you were always running away. Coming face to face with me must leave you petrified.
I'm waiting for these feelings of nausea to subside.
I'll hound you night and day.
What this island needs is a good, reasonable buffet.
I fancy you have treasure. Hand it over.
I haven't got any treasure. Why do you think I was attacking you?
You'd best sail away before you get hurt.
I'm Guybrush Threepwood, a mighty pirate.
Don't make me laugh.
Every enemy I've met, I've annihilated.
With your breath, I'm sure they all suffocated. When your father first saw you, he must have been mortified.
It pays to keep a glass of water at your bedside.
You're the ugliest monster ever created.
I was thrown off a subway because I had expectorated.
Ha! I've beaten you. I will let you live if you give me your treasure.
Treasure? You wanted treasure? I'm sorry, I'm fresh out.
If you're looking for a fight, you've found one.
Give me your treasure and I'll let you live.
No! I'll take your booty.
You're the ugliest monster ever created.
Oh, yeah?
When your father first saw you, he must have been mortified.
Oh, yeah?
I have never seen such clumsy swordplay.
I'm shaking, I'm shaking. You win!
Give me your treasure.
The
In the
treasure
words of
is
Captain
yours.
Hook, I think Guybrush is the Monkey Island franchise, so if it wasn't in the game, it would be a strange creative decision. Guybrush is regularly voiced by Dominic Armato, and we've seen from Ron and Dominic himself that he's currently in the studio doing some voice work. Jojo was the name of the monkey who worked as a piano player at the Bloody Lip Bar and Grill on Scab Island. When business picked up after Lago Legrand was ousted from the island, he used a metronome while playing to keep time. He was obsessed with bananas, to the point that he would freeze solid in fixation if one was shown to him. When Guybrush placed a banana on the metronome, in order to distract him from playing the piano, Jojo became permanently frozen. Guybrush took the petrified monkey with him. Guybrush was able to use him literally as a monkey wrench, on a valve on the Fat Island waterfall in order to uncover passageway to the small isle in the east, which contained the cottage of Rum Rogers Jr. So I think it'd be a cool nod to the original Monkey Island see Jojo, but I think it's unlikely considering the others are bigger characters. So out of all the characters in the cross-stitch, in my opinion, I think we'll not see Jojo returning. Also, in a recent interview, Ron and Dave made it very clear that their biggest regret was related to the monkey wrench puzzle. The monkey wrench puzzle from LeChuck's Revenge is notoriously unsolvable. It was not a good design on several levels. Even if you're an English speaker from a location where the tool in question is commonly called a monkey wrench, and you realise that that's what you need, you still have to make an astonishing predictive leap about how your actions will create that tool. Nothing in the game sets any of it up adequately. I use it to this day as my go-to example of what not to do with puzzle design, and it has influenced my thinking ever since. The player has to be able to somehow visualise what to do, and if they do give up and look at a hint, I want their response to be, "Ah, that makes sense. I should have thought of that," rather than, "How on earth was I ever supposed to think of that, you ridiculous, unfair clowns?" Conversely, I can't think of anything I regret making too easy. Consequences are much less severe for that. It doesn't bring the game to a grinding halt. At worst, it's just not very interesting, and you forget about that as soon as you start thinking about the next puzzle after it.
You may call me Murray. I am a powerful demonic force. I am the harbinger of your doom, and the forces of darkness will applaud me as I stride through the gates of hell, carrying your head on a pike.
Stride?
All right then, roll. Roll through the gates of hell. Boo!
Ah! Oh, it's just you again.
Murray is a demonic skull that terrorized Guybrush Threepwood, who first appeared in The Curse of Monkey Island. He was originally part of LeChuck's army of the undead, before losing his entire skeletal body and becoming somewhat independent. Despite his predicament, he always thought of ways to terrorize others, which often ended in personal injury or embarrassment. There are several interactions with Murray through the series which I always find quite funny. He described himself as an object of pure evil, and dreamed of spreading chaos throughout the Caribbean. Became one of the more memorable characters of the series, appearing in cameo roles in later installments. Murray's skull also appears in the teaser trailer of Return to Monkey Island.
Ron Gilbert told me he'd never make another Monkey Island unless...
It remains to be seen if he'll appear in the actual game, but I think it's likely as he's a fan favourite. Sometimes officially known as GP LeChuck, is arguably the most fearsome pirate ever to sail the seven seas. He was a skilled swordsman, a ruthless killer, and a master of manipulation. He had an obsession with voodoo and the occult, even to the point where he turned himself into an undead abomination in order to harness the great power. As a man, he had a crew of hardy, loyal, cutthroat buccaneers, but when he became an undead horror, his powers grew and his subordinates became almost immortal. His weakness was his hopeless love of Elaine Marley, the governor of a tri-island area. Rumour has it that when she told him to drop dead, he took it literally. Since then, he has strived to make her his undead bride. In his later years, he became the arch-nemesis of Guybrush Threepwood. According to the Voodoo Lady, his reason for being was to perpetually rise from the dead and torment Guybrush and Elaine. It's what he does best. So there we have it, folks, a recap on some of the major characters. I for one will be happy to see some of these returning characters, but also excited to see what new ones they come up with. Grossman in a recent interview speaking, "If I tried to list my favourite characters from Return to Monkey Island in terms of both the end results and the joy I had working with them, it's a mix of new ones and returning ones. I'm eager to see more screenshots of gameplay from the upcoming Return to Monkey Island and how they'll artistically look compared to the other games, as well as the new characters, so watch this space. So if you enjoyed the video, please like and subscribe, and catch you next time.